What we're looking at here is a Sumerian tablet that actually shows the Tree of Life, flanked by divine beings. You can see here the Anunnaki on each side.
They've been translated, and they tell exciting stories about how gods intermingled with human beings and actually had a hand in the creation of human beings.
For more than 4,000 years, the Great Pyramids of Egypt have stood tall, silent, mysterious, and unexplainable. People from every generation have asked the same question. How were these giant monuments built with such perfection, and who truly built them? In 2025, a group of Italian researchers decided to find out. Using one of the world's most advanced AI-powered radar systems, capable of scanning over 3 kilometers deep into the Earth, they aimed their technology straight beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. At first, the readings looked normal, until the AI started picking up strange, repeating shapes far below the bedrock. When the data was processed, it revealed something impossible: long geometric tunnels, cube-shaped chambers, and vertical shafts running in perfect symmetry, some over 2.5 kilometers deep. The AI detected metallic traces that didn't match anything found in Egypt's known history. Machines don't lie, and this discovery forced scientists to ask a question no one was ready to face. What if the pyramids weren't built by the pharaohs at all, but were built upon something much older? And then, just as the results started spreading online, some files vanished, websites were locked, and access to the raw scan data suddenly disappeared. So stay with us, because what lies beneath Giza could change everything we know about human history. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. This is just the beginning. For more than 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood like a silent guardian of time, its massive stones whispering secrets no one could fully decode. Historians, engineers, and explorers have all asked the same burning question: how did humans, with no modern technology, build something so perfect and so impossible? Some claim it was pure human genius, organized labor, clever engineering, and decades of effort. Others believe there's more to the story, that maybe the ancient builders had access to knowledge or technology far beyond their era. And of course, there's the wild idea that something not of this earth might have lent a hand. But for centuries, all of this was just speculation, myth, rumor, and mystery buried beneath layers of sand and time. Then came 2025, the year artificial intelligence decided to take its turn at solving humanity's oldest puzzle. At the University of Pisa, a group of Italian researchers launched an ambitious project that would combine AI, radar imaging, and satellite mapping into one breathtaking mission: to digitally peel back the layers of the Giza Plateau without disturbing a single grain of sand. Their system wasn't just a radar. It was a kind of search engine for the Earth. It scanned electromagnetic echoes deep underground and used machine learning algorithms to recognize patterns invisible to the human eye. Think of it as teaching an AI to read the desert the way Google reads the web, filtering through billions of data points, connecting clues, and revealing hidden structures that no camera or drone could ever see. Over the years, smaller missions had tried similar scans. Japanese and French teams had once detected tiny voids and strange cavities inside the Great Pyramid, but nothing that truly explained how it was built. Those findings had excited archaeologists, yes, but they hadn't changed history. This time, though, something felt different. This wasn't another radar sweep. It was an AI with perception, trained on data from volcanic tunnels, underground cities, and ancient ruins across the world. It knew what man-made geometry looked like. It knew what shouldn't exist naturally. And when it turned its digital eyes toward Giza, the world held its breath. At first, the readings looked ordinary, layers of limestone, cavities, and foundation rock. But as the algorithm refined the scan, it began to flag anomalies, perfectly symmetrical formations miles beneath the surface. The AI's neural network highlighted these shapes in a deep crimson glow, a visual alert it reserved for structures that were architecturally intentional. Italian team leader Dr. Marco Bellini reportedly stared at the data for hours, convinced it was a processing glitch. Yet every recalibration, every fresh scan confirmed the same haunting truth. Beneath the pyramids lay a complex network of corridors and chambers aligned with mathematical precision, too precise to be nature's work. The discovery sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. If the AI was correct, it meant the Giza Plateau wasn't just a burial site. It might be sitting atop something far older, perhaps even the foundation of a forgotten civilization. Scientists who had long dismissed fringe theories suddenly found themselves re-examining old records, forgotten papyri, and myths of the gods who came from the sky. Could it be that the pyramids weren't the beginning of Egyptian engineering genius, but the continuation of something much older? The debate reignited like never before. News outlets ran headlines claiming AI finds hidden base beneath Giza, while skeptics warned of overinterpretation. But whether truth or overreach, one thing was certain: the world had entered a new era of digital archaeology, and the ancient stones were finally speaking again. And as the AI's radar went deeper, it became clear. What it saw next would challenge everything we knew about human history. Let's take the camera a little deeper as we discover what the AI actually found beneath Giza, the shapes, the tunnels, and the terrifying signal that changed the course of the entire investigation. When the first images started coming in, no one in the lab at the University of Pisa could believe what they were seeing. The project, led by Professor Corrado Malanga, had started as a scientific curiosity, an experiment to test how far synthetic aperture radar, combined with AI deep learning algorithms, could penetrate beneath the Giza Plateau. But what began as a data test was about to rewrite the story of ancient Egypt. Using a network of satellites, including Italy's Cosmos SkyMed constellation and the American Capella space system, Malanga's team launched what they called a multi-angle deep scan. These satellites bounced powerful radar waves toward the Giza site, while the AI filtered the returning data to remove geological noise. The result was nothing short of a miracle, a digital X-ray of the Earth, thousands of meters deep, rendered in astonishing detail. At first, the AI mapped expected features: bedrock layers, minor fissures, and traces of older quarry paths. But as the scan reached 2 kilometers below the plateau, strange shapes began to emerge. Symmetrical, geometric, impossible. The radar showed straight corridors running perfectly parallel for hundreds of meters. Cubic chambers, each precisely 12 meters on every side. Spiral formations resembling staircases, crafted in a way no known civilization from 4,000 years ago could have achieved. And then, the most shocking of all, 8 vertical shafts, evenly spaced, descending even deeper, beyond the limit of previous radar capabilities. It wasn't random, it was engineered. Malanga's team ran the data through 3 independent AI models to rule out digital interference. Every system, Google's TensorEarth, ESA's TerraVision, and PISA's in-house DeepScan, produced the same chilling result. The underground formation was too symmetrical, too aligned with the pyramid's geometry to be a natural geological feature. When they overlaid the pyramid's structure above the scan, the shapes matched with eerie precision. Each chamber and passage corresponded to specific points of the pyramid's internal layout, almost as if the pyramid itself was only the visible tip of a vast hidden complex buried beneath the desert. The more the AI analyzed, the stranger it got. Temperature variations in the radar data indicated that some of the underground spaces were hollow and sealed, possibly containing air pockets untouched for thousands of years. One subchamber, labeled Zone 4A by the research team, emitted an electromagnetic resonance that didn't match any known mineral or rock pattern. Some experts suggested it could be the result of ancient metals or magnetic deposits, but others whispered it might be something even more advanced, something left behind. Word of the discovery leaked online before the research could be verified. Social media exploded with theories. AI finds alien base beneath Giza. Egypt's lost underworld discovered. The Egyptian government quickly restricted drone flights and satellite scans over the area, claiming it was for data protection. But by then, the mystery had already gone global. For Malanga and his team, it wasn't about aliens, it was about truth. He told an Italian science outlet, "This is not random geology. We are looking at a design system, built with intention, but beyond our current archaeological context." The statement sent shockwaves across the scientific world. If proven real, it could mean the pyramids weren't simply tombs or temples. They were portals to something buried far deeper in Earth's forgotten past. And just as the research team prepared to send their findings to international review, the AI radar began detecting something even more unsettling: anomalous signals, rhythmic pulses coming from the deepest chamber. At first, it seemed like interference, but when the signal repeated at exact intervals, identical across multiple satellites, scientists realized it wasn't random. It was a pattern, a message, a resonance, or something waking up beneath the sands. Whatever it was, the AI had found it, and humanity was about to look closer than ever before. So next, we'll uncover the impossible signal detected beneath Giza, what scientists believe it might be, and why some think the AI didn't just scan history. It might have triggered something ancient. After the shocking radar data from Italy's AI project leaked across the internet, most of the world dismissed it as digital error, algorithmic misread, or worse, modern myth-making. But the truth has a way of resurfacing, especially when science decides to look again. That second look came from Japan. At Tohoku University, Professor Motoyuki Sato, one of the world's leading experts in ground-penetrating radar, GPR, and subsurface tomography, had been quietly following the Italian experiment. While the media obsessed over alien theories, Sato's approach was calm, empirical, and data-driven. But privately, he was fascinated. He'd been studying electromagnetic anomalies across the western side of the Giza Plateau for over a decade, and something in the AI's findings aligned perfectly with his own unsolved scans from years before. So in early 2026, Sato and his team assembled a fleet of drones and robotic radar units. Using a hybrid of neutron imaging and multi-frequency radar, they began scanning an area about 400 meters west of the Great Pyramid, a zone previously considered archaeologically quiet. The Japanese AI model they used, nicknamed Amaterasu 9, was designed to cross-analyze real-time radar returns with satellite topography, functioning almost like an intelligent search engine for buried geometry. For weeks, the scans came back normal. Layers of sediment, limestone bedrock, ancient quarry scars. But one night, while reprocessing the radar stack through the AI's pattern recognition engine, Amaterasu flagged something unusual. An L-shaped formation, stretching nearly 90 meters long and dipping deep into the desert at a perfect right angle. It wasn't a natural fault line. It was clean, deliberate, mathematically precise. As the team pushed deeper, the radar revealed a cluster of rectangular cavities connected by thin corridors, some descending far below the normal excavation limits. The shapes mirrored the geometry found in the Italian AI's 2025 data, matching angle for angle, depth for depth. The pattern was undeniable. After several months of data validation, Japan's Ministry of Culture authorized a limited excavation. What they uncovered beneath the western sand shocked even the most skeptical archaeologists. Just a few meters below the surface lay the top edge of a massive stone lintel, leading into a narrow descending passage carved with uncanny precision. The chamber beneath was L-shaped, exactly as predicted by Amaterasu 9. Inside, archaeologists found polished walls with faint, faded markings, unlike any known hieroglyphs. The chamber's dimensions matched the AI's model within a margin of less than 2 centimeters. This wasn't random geology. It was man-made, and yet the style didn't match traditional Egyptian tomb architecture. The chamber seemed functional, not ceremonial, as if it were part of a mechanism or an access point to something larger. Sato himself referred to it cautiously as a gateway chamber in early interviews, but international media quickly gave it a far more dramatic title, the Giza Portal. Peer-reviewed journals, including Nature Archaeology Review and Earth Imaging Science, confirmed the structure's authenticity. Satellite cross-verification from Cosmos, SkyMed, and Capella Space reinforced the exact same underground geometry the Italian AI had mapped a year earlier. 2 different nations, 2 separate AI systems, and 2 completely independent methods, both finding the same hidden network beneath Giza. Coincidence had officially become impossible. For the first time in history, multiple global institutions were admitting that something non-natural and intelligently designed existed beneath Egypt's most iconic site. The discovery forced the Egyptian Antiquities Authority to quietly reopen long-frozen exploration permits, though much of their activity since then has remained classified. And as Sato's team dug deeper into the L-shaped structure, they uncovered traces of an even deeper descent, a sealed vertical shaft, perfectly circular, leading further underground. It was covered by a single, perfectly fitted slab. The AI data predicted that if opened, it might lead into the same network detected by the Italian scans, possibly a deeper, central chamber at the heart of the plateau. But before any excavation could continue, the team's instruments began recording something bizarre, low-frequency vibrations pulsing through the stone, echoing faintly upward from below. They weren't natural seismic waves. They were rhythmic, mechanical, almost deliberate. In the next chapter, we'll explore the signal when AI meets the unknown, where scientists begin decoding those vibrations and realize that what they've uncovered beneath Giza may not be a tomb at all, but a living system awakening after thousands of silent years. For decades, Graham Hancock was dismissed by mainstream scholars, labeled a pseudo-historian, a mystery peddler, and worse. His bow, OKS, From Fingerprints of the Gods to Magicians of the Gods, challenged the conventional timeline of human civilization. He argued that the pyramids, the Sphinx, and other megalithic monuments around the world were not built by the Egyptians we know from history books, but were the remnants of a forgotten pre-flood civilization, a culture wiped out around 12,000 years ago during the cataclysmic events of the Younger Dryas period. In his theory, the Great Pyramid wasn't a tomb at all. It was an energy or knowledge center built with precise geometry to harness telluric forces or to preserve the wisdom of an advanced ancient world, what legends later called the Halls of Records. For years, the academic establishment scoffed. No lost civilization had ever been proven. No buried archives had ever been found. The idea that an advanced culture existed before known history was branded impossible. But then came the AI discoveries beneath Giza. when the Italian radar scans revealed geometric chambers 2 kilometers underground, and when the Japanese team uncovered the L-shaped portal structure, researchers couldn't help but notice how uncannily similar the findings were to Hancock's old maps and predictions. In Fingerprints of the Gods, written nearly 30 years ago, Hancock described Giza as a power node, a convergence point between the surface world and the hidden memory of a civilization erased from history. He even drew speculative diagrams showing tunnel systems beneath the plateau, extending westward toward what he believed were sealed archives. Now, with the help of AI radar imaging, those tunnels and chambers appeared to be real, and suddenly Hancock didn't sound so crazy. Even respected archaeologists who once criticized him began admitting that his timeline, the one placing a lost civilization around 10,000 BCE, might align with the new data. Some began re-examining erosion patterns on the Sphinx and ancient astronomical alignments long dismissed as fringe. AI archaeology had done what no human could, stripped away bias, myth, and assumption, and replaced it with cold, pattern-based truth. The underground network beneath Giza, revealed by artificial intelligence, mirrored Hancock's description of the halls of records almost point for point. Chambers aligned to cardinal directions, corridors leading to what appeared to be central vaults, and deeper still, a circular chamber that the AI identified as a data anomaly, its reflective signature unlike stone or metal. What was inside? Nobody knew, but the implications were staggering. Suddenly, Hancock's warnings that humanity suffers from amnesia of the deep past didn't sound like conspiracy anymore. He had always said that history was older, more advanced, and more interconnected than we dared to believe. And now, machine intelligence, built by modern humans, was confirming the words of a man who'd spent a lifetime arguing that the ancients were the real masters of knowledge. It was poetic, almost eerie, human AI confirming ancient intelligence. As media headlines exploded with Graham Hancock proven right by AI, the narrative of archaeology began to fracture. The old academic gatekeepers fell silent. A new era was being born, one where ancient myths, forbidden theories, and machine learning were joining forces to rewrite history. But with every discovery came a deeper question. What if this knowledge was never meant to be unearthed? If the pyramids were built as storage vaults or energy conduits, what were they protecting? What did this lost civilization want us to find or avoid? And just as scientists began preparing to access the deepest chamber, the one the AI flagged as non-geological, a strange event occurred. The electromagnetic pulses detected by the satellites began to synchronize, no longer random, but rhythmic. It was as if the Earth itself was responding to the AI's scans, awakening. In the next part, we'll dive into the awakening chamber, what the AI triggered beneath Giza, where data becomes danger, and researchers realize that the greatest discovery in human history might also be its most terrifying warning. The moment news of the underground network at Giza broke, the world should have celebrated, but instead, something strange happened. Within hours of the Italian and Japanese announcements, Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities issued an official statement calling the findings scientifically unfounded. The tone was defensive, almost panicked, and behind the scenes, things moved fast. Permits were revoked, interviews canceled, satellite data from the Italian team was quietly removed from online archives. It was as if someone had decided, overnight, that humanity wasn't ready to know the truth. But why would Egypt's government and the global archaeological establishment want to bury evidence that could redefine history? The answer, as it turns out, might be buried not beneath the sand, but beneath billions of dollars. Egypt's economy runs on the story of the pharaohs. The Great Pyramid isn't just a monument, it's a brand. Tourism generates over $13 billion annually, and that narrative depends on one unshakable belief. The pyramids were built by Egyptians using human tools around 2500 BCE. If the AI scans were true, if a more advanced, unknown civilization built the foundation of Giza, that myth collapses. Textbooks, museums, documentaries, even religious timelines would have to be rewritten. Entire academic careers built on 200 years of Egyptology would crumble overnight. That's not just inconvenient, it's existential. Sources close to the Pisa research team later revealed that several university partners faced institutional pressure to withdraw support. One professor even received a memo warning that continued association with pseudoscientific claims could jeopardize future grants. But what was pseudoscience about data confirmed by two separate satellite systems? The evidence wasn't myth. It was mathematics, radar imaging, and algorithmic pattern recognition. And that's what terrified them most. Traditional archaeology depends on human interpretation, digging, cataloging, publishing, debating, but artificial intelligence doesn't debate. It doesn't protect reputations. It simply analyzes patterns and reports what it finds. And now, those findings were breaking a centuries-old monopoly on the past. For the first time, machines, not governments or universities, held the keys to ancient history. Anyone with access to synthetic aperture radar data could now scan beneath Giza without stepping foot in Egypt, without needing permits, and without the oversight of the so-called gatekeepers of history. I had just democratized archaeology. And the more the establishment tried to silence it, the louder it became. Leaked reports began appearing on independent platforms. Amateur data analysts started verifying anomalies using open-source satellite archives. The public, not academia, was now leading the investigation. In response, Egypt tightened its digital firewall, blocking foreign radar frequencies and labeling unauthorized scanning as a national security violation. But by then, it was too late. The images were out there, and once information is free, it can't be buried again. Behind closed doors, whispers spread among Egyptologists that the AI might have revealed something even more disturbing than just an ancient city. Some said the radar data showed electromagnetic activity deep beneath the lowest chambers, patterns that pulsed almost rhythmically, like a heartbeat. If true, that would mean the underground structures weren't just ancient, they might still be active. But officially, nothing was said. The story vanished from headlines as quickly as it appeared. Archaeological journals refused to publish it. Documentaries were delayed or canceled, and the public was left with silence, a silence as heavy and deliberate as the stones of Giza themselves. Still, a new era had already begun. AI had shattered the boundaries of permission, proving that truth can't be owned, only discovered. And even as the world's institutions fought to suppress it, a handful of independent researchers were preparing for the next step, to decode the data fully and reveal what the machines had really seen beneath the sand. In the next part, The Awakening Signal, when the machines saw life beneath Giza, we uncover what happened when AI algorithms went one step further and found something that shouldn't exist: movement, energy, and perhaps something still alive under the pyramids. As the dust settled over Giza, the implications of the AI scans began to ripple across the world, because the truth was bigger than Egypt, much bigger. The underground city beneath the pyramids was not an isolated mystery. Across continents, beneath jungles and deserts, the same pattern was beginning to emerge, evidence of advanced construction, older, deeper, and more precise than history allows. In Turkey, At a site called Göbekli Tepe, archaeologists had already uncovered massive stone pillars carved with intricate symbols, dating back to 10,000 BCE, thousands of years before agriculture or writing supposedly existed. The carvings weren't primitive. They were geometric, astronomical, deliberate. The site appeared to be the product of engineers, not hunter-gatherers. In Peru, the fortress of Sacsayhuaman stands as another enigma. Vast blocks of stone weighing up to 300 tons each, fitted together so perfectly that not even a sheet of paper can slide between them. No mortar, no errors, just impossible precision on a mountaintop. And in Lebanon, the platform stones at Baalbek dwarf even the pyramids. Some weigh over 800 tons, resting atop each other with such accuracy that modern cranes would struggle to lift them. Who moved them? How? And for what purpose? These sites are separated by oceans, cultures, and millennia, and yet they share the same architectural DNA: megalithic precision, astronomical alignment, and mathematical perfection. It's as if they were built by the same mind, or by different cultures inheriting knowledge from a single vanished source. For decades, archaeologists tried to explain these similarities as coincidence, parallel evolution, shared ingenuity, but the new AI data from Giza changed that narrative. The algorithms analyzing radar echoes compared the geometry of Giza's underground chambers with databases of other ancient sites. The result was staggering: a 94% structural similarity between patterns at Giza, Baalbek, and Göbekli Tepe. Different continents, different eras, identical architectural logic. It was no longer a coincidence. It was a network. And that network pointed to something humanity has always whispered about: a lost civilization, erased by time, preserved in myth. Flood legends exist in over 200 cultures worldwide, from the Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh to the biblical Noah, from the Hindu Manu to the Aztec Coxcox. Different names, same story: an age of knowledge drowned beneath the sea. Geologists call it the Younger Dryas event, a sudden, catastrophic climate shift around 12,800 years ago, marked by floods, firestorms, and rising oceans. If an advanced civilization truly existed before that time, it's easy to imagine how it might have been wiped from history overnight. And yet, maybe not completely. The pyramids, Göbekli Tepe, Baalbek, Sacsayhuaman, each could have been an outpost, a piece of a larger system designed to preserve what was lost. Not tombs, not temples, but repositories of knowledge, blueprints of energy, mathematics, and cosmic understanding that humanity is only now rediscovering through AI. As AI, radar, and machine learning continue scanning the planet, from the jungles of Guatemala to the deserts of Arabia, new anomalies are appearing every month: rectilinear patterns, subsurface vaults, underground chambers, all where none should exist. It's as if the earth itself is whispering secrets to the machines. Maybe ancient humans weren't primitive at all. Maybe they reached technological heights that mirrored our own, before a catastrophe forced them to start over. And maybe, just maybe, we are the descendants of those survivors, finally piecing together a story our ancestors tried desperately to leave behind. If the AI scans at Giza are right, then the pyramids are not monuments to the dead. They are messages to the future, encoded in stone, buried beneath sand, waiting for a machine intelligent enough to understand them. And now, at last, that machine has arrived. The question is, what happens when it finds the next site? If artificial intelligence can now pierce the earth and expose truths hidden for 12 millennia, then what else has it yet to uncover? And more importantly, what happens when it finally connects all the dots? If you believe we've only scratched the surface of humanity's true past, let us know in the comments. and make sure to subscribe, because what's coming next could rewrite everything we thought we knew about where we came from and who we really are.